Hey gun people, this is another video use of force issues I got with the what the cops are doing, but I'm gonna try and tell you kind of a little their side. I know I'm gonna get some probably hate mail on this. There's gonna be people that think I'm protecting the cops. There's gonna be people that think I'm being too hard on the cops, but you know what? It is what it is. There's some errors here. So somebody calls the police for this girl, and she is the victim.
Is she hurt? She has a cut on her nose, it's bleeding, and there's a patch of hair on the ground beside the car.
Okay.
A deputy responds to a report of an...
When you hear that type of call, you're thinking there was a fight. She's hurt, she's on the ground, she's missing some hair. Either she's drunk and fell, or she was in a fight. So, just because you get called and they're saying someone's hurt and just needs police, you're probably not getting the whole story. I'm not saying I justify what happened next, but that's what's in the frame of mind of cops, because, you know, cops are paid to be suspicious when there's nothing to be suspicious about. That's what we do.
Assault. Hope Steffi is identified as the victim, the one who needed help. But when help arrives, things get even worse. He began treating the injured Steffi not as the victim, but as the troublemaker.
He proceeded to slam her onto the ground.
Oddly enough, the sheriff's dash cam video wasn't turned on when all this was happening.
Okay, minor error, his dash cam wasn't turned on. I'm being facetious there. Sometimes guys don't turn it on. They don't come on automatically. You have to manually turn it on. If you get out on a call, there's certain guidelines at some departments on when they turn on the camera and when they don't. You don't turn it on every call unless you're in trouble and they're trying to get you. My one buddy got in trouble and they were like, okay, from now on, part of your punishment is your video camera can never be off. It had nothing to do with use of force. They just, because he missed something they should have got, and they said from now on you have to keep your camera on. So they use it as punishment. But most agencies, for storage, etc., you have to turn it on manually on certain calls. So the fact they didn't turn it on could be intentional. I mean, I don't think most cops respond saying, you know what, this is the call and I'm going to get out and beat somebody up on for just GP because I'm in the mood, so I'm going to leave my camera off. That's just not the way cops think. I know people think that is, but it just isn't. We respond to calls and it's kind of like, all right, shit, I'm going to take paper, I'm not going to take paper, I wonder if this is bullshit, wonder what kind of lies I'm going to get, let me get out of here, shit, I was about to get off for an hour, I hope this doesn't take over an hour, you know, is this my beat, where's the guy that's supposed to take this paper, he's out there goofing off, I'm taking his paper, that's bullshit, the sergeant ought to be, that's what cops are thinking of when we respond to shit.
The dash cam wasn't rolling until shortly before Steffi was placed in the back of the officer's squad car. That portion of the video either doesn't exist or wasn't released to Steffi's lawyers. Eventually, Steffi is handcuffed and hauled away to the Stark County Jail to answer questions.
Okay, once again, cops usually just don't go out and arrest somebody with a bloody nose and handcuff them and throw them in a car. Let's just say he did intentionally turn it off. I mean, what does this cop have to gain except paper and headache, and now I don't want to transport somebody to jail. It's a pain in the ass. I got to put my gun in the trunk. I gotta search the person. I gotta get out of the car. I gotta go through the Sally port. I gotta do all the paperwork. I gotta write paper. Cops don't want to write paper. So for somebody to believe that this cop didn't turn on his camera just so he could get out and pick on this poor woman, beat her up, and then take her to jail, and he left the camera off and hidden, I don't buy that. My guess is she was drunk, she was belligerent, she was being a pain in the ass, and he kind of, you know, she left him no reason, like, you know what, I'm going to have to use force on you because you won't shut up, you won't listen to me, you keep getting in my face, you keep getting up, I've told you to sit down, now you're becoming a hazard, I'm tired of dealing with you, if you don't follow my instructions, I'm going to arrest you for obstruction, and finally he just went, you know what, she's drunk in public, I'm going to arrest her for drunk in public. That's how I think we got to this point. Again, I'm just guessing, and I know this people out there is, oh no, he got there because he just wanted to beat up on a woman, and he turned off his camera, and he went out there and grabbed the first woman he could and beat her up. Okay, that's what happened.
Among them, do you have any weapons or sharp objects? Have you ever thought of harming yourself?
Okay, that question is key. when you get somebody that's really drunk and they don't follow orders and they're crying and they're hysterical and they're like, I don't care, you arrested me, my life's over and I'm just gonna just kill me, I don't care anymore. When you get that shit, now it moves cops into that, they're in that lock situation. Now we have threats to hurt yourself or others. Now we have to do, in California it's called 5150, an evaluation. You have to make sure they're not going to commit suicide while you got them. You know, if the cops just went, oh, poor girl, you know, let's just lock her up and let her cool off. She kills herself. It's going to be like, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you pay the signs? And why didn't you ever medically? So now the cops are asking these questions. I think she's probably made some statements that caused them to ask this question. And now they're going to do what's called a strip search because she's not being cooperative. I got pros and cons to this.
When Steffi responds, now or ever, she says deputies knock her down and place her...
Now or ever. So she was being a smartass. Again, another clue that she's probably under the influence. Have you ever thought about hurting yourself? Now or ever? You know what? We're not going to play this game where you just keep asking rhetorical questions and be a pain in the ass. So, she said they knocked her to the ground. I'm sure they took her to ground.
In a pretzel position. The sheriff denies the allegation. But is there even more video missing? Jailhouse surveillance video. A deputy's hand...
Okay, I got a problem with this. Obviously the video is recording. Obviously it's being camcorded. There's all these cops here. There ought to be video. If there's not video, I'm in the impression that the sheriff's department's deleted it. Now, I don't think there's a lot of cops that do this, and I don't think there's a lot of times. But when a sheriff starts denying everything and saying all this video is missing, now we move past the point of it's just an accident.
Handheld camera appears to be rolling as Steffi was escorted to a cell. Her lawyers never received any of this tape, which might show Steffi knocked to the ground again. Today, special prosecutors say the sheriff's camera was not working at the time. She says they roughed her up again before they pinned her down on a cell floor and took off all her clothes. The sheriff again denies the allegation, but there's no denying what happened in the video that Steffi's lawyers did obtain. Steffi weighs 125 pounds. She's in handcuffs, face down. Up to 7 individuals working for the sheriff or jail are in...
Okay, that's a clue. Why are there 7 people there? Okay, in the crazy, loony, all cops are bootleg, Jack just want to beat up people world, they're going to say all 7 cops got their opportunity to beat up on this handcuffed girl and they just jumped on it. Okay, in the real world, you get that many cops when a girl's kicking and frailing and being uncooperative and you don't want to hurt her and you don't want to slam her, so you get a couple guys on the feet or 1 or 2 on the foot, 1 on the arm, and you try to do it. Now if you got a strip searcher, because she's not being cooperative, getting everything that a person can hurt themselves with off them when they're in handcuffs fighting is not an easy task. You got to remove shirts, belts. With a woman, they're removing her bra. I'm not sure why they removed her panties and made her naked. You know, they're going to say, well, she could have tied a knot and hang herself. She could have ate it and choked herself to death. We just, because of her reactions, decided. I think there's a little bit of contempt of cop here. They were pissed off because she was being a pain in the ass. But I also think she was being a pain in the ass, and some of this shit was justified when you start talking about killing yourself.
Both women and men deputies forcibly removed all her clothes.
You can tell she's cooperative.
Repeatedly questions officers about what they're doing. Steffi pleads for deputies to stop, and when they begin removing her underwear and bra, she begins to scream.
Okay, I can understand this.
That could be your wife. That could be anybody's wife.
For the next 6 hours, Steffi was left in a cell completely naked, without even a blanket.
Okay, I kind of got a problem with this. Sometimes this is called police justice. The jailers get pissed off at people that come in there and make them do all this shit because now all these people got to do paperwork, videotape. So they're like, okay, we'll show you. We'll leave your ass in here with no blanket, no nothing, naked. You can freeze your ass off, and there's a window there. And we have to have a window so we can keep an eye on you to make sure you're not going to hurt yourself. And now everybody gets to walk by and humiliate you because you're naked. Good and bad. I mean, there's policies, there's ways around it. But, you know, I always thought, well, why couldn't you have something to close the window that a deputy could walk by and look? Well, Rick, you know, that's not our job, and if it's open, deputies can keep an eye, and if we put something to block it and they get hurt, then we're going to get sued. So, I mean, there's this constant if, and but coconuts. But anyway, just kind of wanted to give the other side. Again, this is in this video. I'll put the link. It's an hour long. Got some really good footage in it.